Okay, we got a great group here. I'm excited to see all the names listed on the right, and just want to say welcome to this webinar series. For those of you that have been in the waiting room, you'll see a little question talking about, when does Cyberquery get its start? And, the options are 2010, 2000, 1990, or 1980. The answer to this question is actually back in the 1980s. I think it was 1985, 1988, something like that. But cyber science has been around 40 plus years. And the nice thing about the company is that we've got employees that go back that far. So a lot of the people here have been here, 10, 20, 30 years. I've been here over 20. Jeff Dabbert, who you might recognize, he's also been here over 20. Zach Lyons, who's going to be doing the demo, he's been here 4 years now. But the thing you'll find about cyber science is the employees hang around, and that makes it good for everybody. So what I want to do is just kind of introduce this webinar series again. This is the second episode, but this webinar series is designed just to help you get more value out of cyber science and Cyberquery. So, as you have questions, feel free to submit them. The whole plan with this webinar series is that we're going to answer questions, and we're going to let your questions drive the direction of these episodes. So we did one episode on the latest release of Cyberquery, which is 930. And if you want a link to that recording, just let me know. And at the end, you'll see my email address, my phone number. You'll also see Zach's contact information, as well as the contact information for support. But feel free to reach out. We want to be available to you. So this session we're going to talk about is going to focus on creating Cyberquery dashboards and charts with drill downs. So we're going to go through and just show you some of the capabilities there. At the end of the session, you'll receive a survey. And with that survey, we want you to, fill out topics for what you'd like to see happen in the next sessions, as well as just answering questions today. So if questions come up, you can submit them through the question and answer section within Zoom, and we'll try to answer as many as we can as we go forward. But if we can't get to them all, we'll get back to you with answers. But also, as part of that survey, tell us what you'd like to see the next topics be. And we've got a couple of ideas we'll talk about here towards the end. But again, the whole idea is this webinar series is for you. So tell us what you'd like to see, and we'll try to fit everything in, everybody's requests. So with that being said, we're going to kind of start marching through here. So this series really, again, is designed to enhance your knowledge and skill set. It's going to be customer driven. So again, tell us what you like to see. And the plan is that we're going to have an episode every month on the third Wednesday at 2 o'clock Eastern time, 1 o'clock Central, or 11 o'clock Pacific time. So with that being said, kind of the agenda today is we're going to talk about dashboards. We're going to talk about creating links and drill downs. We'll talk about future sessions, what topics are going to be. And then even at the end of this session, time permitting, we're going to answer any questions you might happen to have. So with that being said, I want to introduce you to Zach Lyons. Zach is one of our senior consultants. He's been with Cyber Science now going on 4 years. And a lot of you already know him. He comes with me to a lot of the shows. He's probably the tallest guy in the company, a young guy, dark hair. But he works in our training group, our consulting team, and also on the support line. So you've probably spoken with him, and now he's going to talk to us about how to build dashboards like the one you see with links and drill downs. So with that, Zach, I'm going to turn the time over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. Thanks for that introduction. Like Jim mentioned, my name is Zach. I work in the consultancy group here at Cyber Science. I'm just going to show you guys a couple of dashboard examples that I have prepared today, as well as a live example of how you can create a hyperlink in a Cyberquery chart or report. So this first example I have for you here is just kind of give you a primer of what a Cyberquery dashboard might look like. So this is a scrap dashboard that we made for one of our customers pretty recently, and you can see this is kind of an amalgamation of a couple of different reports, right? We've got the programs that are producing the most scrap, the top reasons for why folks are scrapping materials, the total cost, right? That it doesn't go, when we're talking about a dashboard, we're looking at something that doesn't really, maybe it doesn't very go deep into the details of a specific, report or activity, but more gives you an at a glance view of some quick details. So I've got a more interactive example for you later, but this is just a quick example of what a dashboard might look like in Cyberquery. So to create something like you saw on the last slide, the easiest way to do that is via a compose statement inside of a Cyberquery macro. If you haven't written a Cyberquery macro before, easiest way to think of it is a macro is just a program that executes multiple different tasks, right? So you can tell it to run and update, 4 or 5 different queries, and then use that compose statement at the bottom of your macro to combine all of those outputs together into one. I've got some code that I can show you guys on how exactly to do that later. But just in terms of talking about benefits behind Cyberquery dashboards, right? Main benefit is that they can be shown on the shop floor or around your office. So if you have TVs, monitors, other displays close to your machines on the floor, you can publish these dashboards, show them on those TVs to give your workers on the floor kind of an at a glance summary of things like efficiency, jobs currently on the floor, whatever you'd like to display there. The nice thing too, when you're displaying on a shop floor TV like that, is you can automatically update these Cyberquery dashboards. So there's a feature that you can enable once you've created your dashboard to have it go ahead and refresh every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes. Just something on an interval that you decide to automatically update on. Then lastly, these dashboards support links to other reports or web pages. So we'll get into some of those details actually on my next slide here. So you may have seen either in your environment or in one of our sample reports, a report that links from one to another, right? The most common example of this, is moving from a summary to a drill down style report. Say you have a summary level report that shows you all of your state sales, but you want to be able to click on that state to see, all of the different orders and invoices that occurred in that state. The easiest way to do that in Cyberquery is using this link wizard tool right here. You may have seen it before. This plus sign with the chain link icon next to it. Like I was mentioning, it's primarily used to drill down from a summary level to a detail level report. But that's not its only use case. You can also use this link wizard to embed hyperlinks to, say, if you have like a company SharePoint website that you want to link out to, or if you have a specific form that you want to link to for my CSI cloud users in the audience. If you want to create a link in your Cyberquery report to a specific form in your cloud ERP, you could do that. Or the same thing if you run a CRM system like a Salesforce out of the cloud, you can also link to pages and records in your CRM system. So Cyberquery to Cyberquery is not the only link that you can create. You can also link to other locations either on your network or on the internet. So now that I've kind of set the scene for you guys in terms of what you can do with dashboards and linked reports, I've got an example in my demo system here. So let me just go ahead and switch over there. Sorry about that. So the first example I want to show you guys in the system is a report I developed for another customer called the vendor scorecard. So I've just got it published to my Cyberquery Launchpad here, but I'm going to go ahead and run this and see the output that it spits out for me. So at a high level, this vendor scorecard, what it does is it tracks the both the delivery and the quality performance of your vendors over a given period of time. So this top section grades them, on a metric of on-time deliveries, but also the quantity of items that were rejected. Maybe they arrived broken or something like that. That's all being handled in the top section of this Cyberquery output. But you'll notice down at the bottom here, we have this trends section as well. So the trends shows, the overall score for that vendor over the last. It can go back as far as 6 months, but in my case, I only have 4 months of data to report off of here. I wanted to show you guys this example because this is a good example of that compose statement that I was talking about just a couple of slides ago. So if we flip over to the macro that actually generates that vendor scorecard, let me show you guys a little bit more in detail how exactly that works. So the lines that I'd like you to mainly focus on here are these two run lines here that generate the upper portion of my vendor scorecard. And then this second run line that I have currently highlighted, that's what generates that chart at the bottom of the page. So I've got just flipping quickly back to my output here. I've got one run command that generates this section at the top, one run command that generates the trends down at the bottom. So after those two run commands, that's where the compose statement comes into play. What I'm essentially saying with the compose command is that I want to take these two outputs, right? The upper scorecard and the lower scorecard, and combine those together into one output. In this case, mine is a PDF, but you can choose to compose to other types of outputs like HTML as well. Widths and heights for each element of your compose statement are also configurable, as you can see kind of on this line right here. But kind of the key takeaway for you guys here is that this compose statement, that's going to be the easiest way for you to generate outputs in Cyberquery that have the results of multiple different graphs all on the same page. And flipping over to another example here, I also have another report that you may have seen before. This is what we call our daily performance dashboard. And if you're a Sightline/CSI customer in the audience, you may have already seen this one before, or you may already have it in your environment. What this one does is just tracks year over year sales at a high level. You can see I have, pretending that 2024 is my current year, but I have the current year's sales, but also the previous year's sales as well from a comparison standpoint. And I have that charted across orders, invoices, POs, and receipts. So this is another compose statement, but I wanted to show you guys this example as well, because this one actually outputs to HTML formats. And the benefit of that HTML format is this dashboard is fully interactive, right? For these data points right here, my eye can just kind of guess and tell that it's probably close to the $150 million mark, but I can't tell exactly. But one nice interactive feature here is I can place my cursor right on top of this data point, and it'll show me the exact value, in this case, the exact value of both of these points, so I can be very precise. The last benefit of this interactive dashboard is that I can also link out to other reports as well, like we were mentioning in my slides earlier. So if I want to see, if I want to drill into a specific data point on one of these graphs, I can select right here. If I just click the month of December in my graph, that'll take me to a drill down level report where I can see all of the different transactions that made up that total on my screen. So adding the hyperlink gives me the ability to go from the summary level of the report to dig into the details very, very quickly. So now that you guys have seen a couple examples here, I want to go ahead and pause for questions. Jim, are there any questions that have come up in the Q&A that I can answer real quick?
Yeah, just one came up just right now asking how many levels of drill down can you have?
You can drill down as deep as you need to go. So I think I've seen one in the wild that went almost 10 layers deep, in terms of drilling down. So yeah, there's no limit to the number of levels that you can drill down to, or links that you can create.
Okay. Here's another one. This dashboard, um, in these dashboards, can you access data from multiple sites and or bond companies?
Yeah, that's one of the nice features of our CSI and bond toolkits. They're able to read, they can read all of your database, all of your site databases in one consolidated reporting application, or you can split it out into individual site level reporting applications as well. There's no limits there.
Okay, great, thanks. And keep those questions coming. There's a little Q&A box. If you click them there, they'll they'll come through to us. Oh, here's one more that just came in, Zach.
Sure.
Uh, where do you post the dashboards? So uh, again, I think what you were saying is you can post those dashboards to the launch pad, or you can publish them out to your own you know landing page, or just any environment. So to answer the other question, if you're outputting these dashboards into a file, this is going to be an HTML file. They do not require a Cyberquery license for viewing the dashboards. The drill downs do require a runtime license, but just viewing the dashboards do not require a Cyberquery license.
Yeah, and this Cyberquery Launchpad is a good place for any of your dashboards to be published, because then you can just have all your folks that need to use these reports and dashboards just go ahead and bookmark this URL right here, and they can go and access the dashboards for themselves rather than needing to have it sent out to anyone. So that's a nice launchpad feature there.
Good. Okay.
All right. Well, at this point, you guys have seen a lot of, a lot of ready-made examples. To kind of close things out here, I just want to show you guys a quick example in Cyberquery of how you would link from one report to another. Kind of similarly to how I have it set up in this daily performance dashboard right here. So I got two reports set up as sort of my starting point here. I have a chart that shows me the total invoices by day. And then I have this. Oh, I apologize. It's showing blank at the moment because I did not pick a day that actually had any invoice lines. But you'll see it populated in just a moment. I have this detail level report as well, and ideally I'd like to be able to click one of the bars in my graph and have it take me to this drill down where it's going to show me all of the lines that were invoiced on a given day. So to do this, I'm going to use the link wizard tool that we mentioned earlier. You'll want to make sure that you're using your reporting tool for this portion as well. If I just click any of the bars in my graph here, then with that bar highlighted, I'm going to click the add hyperlink or the link wizard button right here. It's going to ask me to describe the link. That just gives it a tooltip when you hover over it in the report. So I'm going to say, click here to see all invoices for this day. I also have the option to decide, what application the target report lives in. The target report being the report that I'm eventually going to be drilling down to here. I'm actually going to leave this as the default using the current CQCS application just because both of these reports are reside in my CSI 10 reporting application. Next step is really important here, guys. You'll want to make sure that the report that you want to drill down to is saved in the web reports folder. The web reports folder is a collection of all of your CQ queries that can be run via a URL. This step is important because your drill down will not work unless your drill down or your target report is saved to that web reports directory. So if you don't know what folder that is, or if you don't know where to find it on your Cyberquery server, go ahead and ask your system administrator. They could probably point you in the right spot. But this list here just shows me a list of all the reports I have saved in my web reports folder. I'm going to use this invoice drill down option right here. That's the drill down report that I saved to web reports. One thing we have to consider though is that my drill down report has two parameters that I use to filter the data, right? Since there won't actually be someone here to fill in these parameter values, coming back to the link wizard now, what I need to do is I need to essentially feed those parameters from the drill down report using a piece of data from my top level report or my starting report. So I'm just going to quickly map some data to these two parameters. The invoice item master table is that's my domain that I'm using here. So I'm going to say for this input site parameter right here, I'm going to tell Cyberquery to feed it with the site reference from invoice item master when someone clicks on that link. And I have to do it for both of my parameters as well. So for my input date parameter, I'm going to feed that parameter with the invoice dates. So that way, when we click on one of the dates in our bar graph, it tells our drill down level report that this is the date that it should pull data for, and everything works seamlessly, and it brings you back the exact drill down information you want. So I'll click OK here. Then once you've decided on your target, once you've decided on your target query and you've mapped all of the parameters, at this point, you're okay to go ahead and click Finish. So notice after I hit Finish on the link wizard, looking over at my query pane, the new 9.30 query pane here on the right-hand side, I can see that Cyberquery actually inserted this link function for me. So that's what it's actually doing behind the scenes. Then to test things out here, I'll just click on my bar graph and click on the little arrow that pops up next to it. And when I drill down, I should see all my invoice lines for that specific day. So that's the end of the demo I had prepared for you guys. If there are any questions on this example, feel free to send them in via the Q&A. And if anyone would like either of the two queries that I used for this example, feel free to reach out and we can provide you with those as well. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and pass the ball back to Jim, who will tell you some more about our upcoming sessions.
Okay, thank you, Zach. Let's see, there was one more question that came in, Zach, before you leave. With these drill downs, can I also access data coming from other systems? So if I'm using Bond or if I'm using Infor.ln or I'm using Sightline, can I link back to reports that are using Excel, for example?
Yeah, you can absolutely create reports that combine your Sightline bond data with some Excel data. A lot of our users use that for their budget versus actuals reports. Commonly they'll have the budgets in Excel, but the actuals obviously in Sightline or Bond. So Cyberquery is able to kind of combine those two data sources and let you drill into each.
Okay, great. And for people that have asked for examples, would like to see more information at the end, fill out that survey, and you can request a copy of these PowerPoint slides or a link to the recording, and we can send you more examples as well. So thanks again, Zach. For upcoming sessions, again, we're going to take those surveys and kind of filter them and see if we've got a lot of common requests for information. But a couple of the ideas we've got coming up for our next episodes would be things like, building file relationships and different kinds of joins. We'll also want to talk about customizing active help. So when you prompt a user for an item number, you may want to display the item number and the description for that item and the product code or whatever, and being able to search on any of that information, the active help. We'll teach you how to do that. And the third one is AI. So we're investing a lot in AI. As a matter of fact, people that are on the top on the session that are going to Sun, please come by our booth, attend our session. We're going to show you the latest AI capabilities of Cyberquery. It's not quite ready to release, but here over the next month or two, we're going to be looking for 5 or 10 beta partners to test out the ability to use our AI engine to actually generate Cyberquery reports. So that's a big one. So if you got other ideas you'd like to see us address in some of these episodes, please pass those on. And again, you should expect an invitation from us here about the same time next month with these new topics. So we've kind of been answering questions as we go along. If there's other questions, again, feel free to submit them either directly to me or to the support line. And again, don't forget to fill out that survey. Here's the contact information. So you can always reach out to support@cyberscience.com, myself, Jay Mon at Cyberscience, or you can go to our website/training and see all the scheduled training classes coming up. From there, we just want to say, hey, we'll see you at Sun as well as at the Infor conference a little bit later this year. But thanks for attending and appreciate your time.